Hello everyone, it is Moonwalking Kingdom, and today I'm going to be reacting to a video that a friend sent to me. And this is about Michael Jackson not being relevant to young people. The person that's in this interview is Charleston White. He's a podcaster. Go check out the original video first if you haven't seen it yet, and then come back to this video with the comments. We're going to get right on the way with this, because we can't be wasting any more time. I don't want to talk anymore on this because it's gonna drag. But anyway, I mean, we'll save the talking for when I react to the video.
Okay, we're gonna go right to the video, straight on. I'll pause if I have something to say, but I just don't want this to drag. That's it. All right, here we go.
Man, he sold 1 million copies this year.
Man, but come on, homie, that's the old people.
He sold 1 million copies and he died 10, 20, 15 years ago.
That don't make him relevant. Where's his music playing? Just because, man, I can go down. Where's his music playing at? When he died, his music was everywhere playing. Where is the relevance of his music?
Okay, so I already want to start here because when he died, of course people were playing his music, but even before he died, he was selling out 15 shows. 15, no, it was 10 shows. 10 shows were sold out in 15, 20 minutes. That was that's how it was. I feel like if you want to make Michael Jackson relevant to young people, now people were already trying to do that, you can. I mean, the biopics come out next year. That's easily going to make him relevant again to a certain demographic of people. I feel like now, like you could say, we'll make Michael relevant again because Thriller is every Halloween. Sure, Michael Jackson's probably not going to be on the minds of everybody 24/7. I mean, there's certain people that they'll have Michael Jackson on their mind every fucking hour of the day. I'm not that person, even though I'm making this video because a friend sent it, and I generally wanted to talk about this because I want you to hear my opinions. But I feel like in order to make an artist relevant, there just has to be a way to do that. You have to make them relevant. And then we just have the name Michael Jackson is that is the most identifiable, one of the most identifiable names in music. Like, here's the thing, maybe like young kids, I don't know if they'll like I asked a kid, 3-year-old kid, not 2-3, I think he was like 5 or 6. And they didn't know who Michael Jackson was. And I can't be shocked at that because they probably weren't accustomed to Michael Jackson unless their parents were telling them, this is what I grew up with. And then maybe 10, 20 years, 30 years from now, 40, 50 years from now, those parents are going to grow up and say, "Oh, let me introduce you to Sabrina Carpenter." And then those kids are going to be, So it's a generational thing at the end of the day, but at the same time, I don't think Michael Jackson is going to be forgotten, even if his music isn't as played. But then we'll talk about, he asked the question here, where's his music playing? I've heard Michael Jackson numerous times in stores, and this is recent. I remember going to a bunch of college parties. Normally, nobody requests Michael Jackson, and that's a fact. They want like Travis Scott and Pop Smoke and a lot of international music, stuff like that. And that's completely okay, But I'm usually the one requesting Michael Jackson because I like dancing to Michael Jackson at parties. But you're gonna hear Thriller every Halloween, like I mentioned. And whenever Michael Jackson's playing, everybody knows it. Everyone's going crazy. When I'm dancing in front of people as Michael Jackson, they're going nuts. So that's about making his if you have to be the one to bring up his name, and this goes for any artist during that time period. So yeah, let's keep going. I don't want this to drag.
Michael Jackson will never not be relevant.
Man, he'll always be who he is, but homie, he's irrelevant.
You got Chris Brown and Sierra dancing to him right now for the 40th anniversary.
Chris Brown is relevant.
Okay, so pretty soon Chris Brown is. I mean, he's definitely relevant now because I mean, apparently they're making a documentary about him. You know, this could go the same with, you know, whatever happened in, you know, to Michael Jackson all those years. But, you know, it's crazy. And we say these, I mean, definitely people like fucking Diddy are relevant right now, especially. Oh my God, with current events, you have to really rely on current events for someone to be relevant as well. So I can understand what he's trying to say with this. But again, I feel like relevancy is it's such a broad it's so broad because there's many different ways you can do that or get a person a celebrity attention again. You know, like I don't think they're. We'll talk about this later on, but
Yeah.
Anniversary don't make you. Anniversary don't make you. Man, no, homie.
I mean, it depends. I mean, it has to be marketed well. You know, things have to be marketed well in order for things to be relevant. Without marketing, it's shit. I mean, Maxwell did the Lady of My Life through the 40, but through the 40 was poorly marketed. Nothing was ever like promoted. I mean, they had the immersive experience, which is really cool, and people did go to that. There were a lot of people there, but even then, someone told me, "Oh, I knew about this because you made a video about it, Joey. That's why." Because the estate said nothing. The estate they're not doing anything. So again, I can understand. I mean, they got the musical out, and that's doing really well. But I feel like if you're gonna put like a concert because Michael Jackson is going to attract people, that name is already enough. So if you want to make him relevant again, yeah, you got the biopic, which is fucking awesome. But we need like concerts, go put some documentaries out, more, And I'm not even an avid estate complainer. I'm just saying they make it difficult to enjoy being a Michael Jackson fan. It's a fact. I mean, we barely get anything. And it's sad. It's sad because I'm looking at how the Prince estate does their stuff. I'm looking at how the Hendrix estate is doing their stuff. I'm looking at how even the Beatles, like, everything's better with them. Like, it's crazy.
Y'all got this mistaken. Greatness don't make you relevant.
I don't agree with that. I mean, it depends on how that greatness is treated. I mean, you could say, young girls can say Taylor Swift is relevant because she's my favorite, Same with how people were saying Michael Jackson was there because Taylor Swift is breaking records and doing all this stuff. And now with the whole streaming and sales thing, I feel like now we live in an era of streaming. And honestly, I can understand when people go, sales and physical sales. Michael did it without sales. Yes, but it was a different era at the time. That's why. If somebody like Taylor Swift was living in the 80s and became so popular, and Michael Jackson was living now, nobody would be saying that about it. They'd be so, let me know how y'all feel about that. If the roles were reversed, if Taylor Swift was the biggest thing in the 80s, and Michael Jackson was the biggest thing now, how would that be? That's a really interesting question. So let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments because, it's interesting when we look at this because you can still, streaming obviously makes it easier for people to get an audience, and that's good. Like I think that's good. Maybe people might say it's bad, but I think it was so hard. It was much harder because they really cared about talent, and now they still do, but somebody could also make the argument that they don't, and they just get people because they're not. I will admit I think Taylor Swift is talented. Am I a fan of her? No, but can I at least respect certain aspects? Yes. Same thing with, we get a bunch of these other artists, and, like, I love The Weeknd, and he got famous from streaming. Does that mean he sucks? No. Does that mean, that's what I'm saying, artists, They go in their own lanes, and I think that's how we should treat everybody.
Man, don't you know? Listen. Don't you know? 10 years from now, it'll be a Chinese person singing and dancing like Michael Jackson, and 10 years after that, nigga, Michael Jackson won't mean nothing.
I don't know how I feel about that one, because even in the next 10 years, you're still gonna get little kids dancing like Michael Jackson. That's been like that for a while. I mean, I can't be the one to say that. Even then, I don't know how the future will be, but I'm sorry, for a big name like Michael Jackson, there's just no way I can see that die off. I just can't. I mean, you got all these impersonators. It's a lot. You got a lot of them are publicized, criticized. You know, I don't see how that can die off. I politely disagree.
Michael Jackson is the most famous person of all time. I don't think.
Listen to me. 10 years from now, you must ain't been looking at what these Chinese kids can do. There's no black children dancing like the Michael Jackson we know.
Okay, so when it says we know, what are they referring to? Are they referring to a specific point? Or is he referring to, oh, we know Michael Jackson was because we grew up with it? I think I might be right with that statement, but you know, I mean, you're still going to see kids dance Michael Jackson, but of course, as I probably mentioned before, you know, they're probably not going to want, or not even have Michael Jackson on their minds at a party. They'll have like Travis Scott or Pop Smoke or what's another popular artist. They think they'll want like BTS or what's another you know, any popular form of music of now they're going to want. You know, like we get like Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan. Like these are some very big names of today that people are talking about. So you know, but I feel like we're still gonna get that. I mean, I remember playing MJ at because I work with kids, so it's like, you know, they all knew who Michael Jackson was. Like a 5-year-old girl knew who Michael Jackson was, which is crazy. I remember I was at summer camp and one of the counselors was playing Billie Jean. And all the kids knew the chorus. They were singing out loud, and these kids were in 4th grade. So, you know, it's interesting because, you know, I just feel like it depends on the way they were raised, the way they were driven into the history of their musical history. Everyone has their own musical history, and that's a fact. Like, so I have to at least respect that.
There's gonna be a Chinese person that's gonna be dancing similar, if not better, than Michael Jackson. That's gonna take the focus off our Michael Jackson.
Usher couldn't.
Okay, so what he's basically saying is, now, this is something that a lot of people have already been saying, that you're going to have people who are taking inspiration from Michael Jackson and then evolving it. This probably went with like how Michael was taking a lot of stuff from James Brown, or being inspired by James Brown, and, you know, putting all his inspirations together and making it into one, innovating. You know, you could get a lot of the same, you know, people doing that too. I mean, here's the thing about it, because he's dropping.
Marion couldn't. Chris Brown couldn't.
Listen.
I get the message.
Oh,
because
listen.
Now, Chris Brown, Omarion, Usher, you just dropped 3 names. I don't like the comparison topic, so I'm going to refrain from bringing it up, but all I will say is that all 3 of those names, I don't like to, you know, put them in a category with Michael Jackson because they're their own people. Very talented people. Like, I can't even, like, deny it, you know? And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to piss anybody off.
This is what I'm saying. The Queen of Egypt used to be black. Who plays the Queen of Egypt today? A white woman.
I get where you're going.
Just think about this, homie. Our characters will not be relevant.
I get where you're going.
See, that one is relevant.
I mean, I feel like with the biopic coming, that's going to put his name back up. And again, it's just the fact of putting his name in a, just having the name Michael Jackson will sell. That's going to sell, even though the public doesn't really care unless something's brought up, And I could see a lot of people just not really caring about Michael Jackson anymore because he's dead. They're not dropping any music. They're not this. He's not alive. But even then, you have alive artists that had their time and aren't really, active in the spotlight right now. I don't think any little kids know who Stevie Wonder is. They might know who he is if a parent tells them, but I don't think little kids are going to know who. I don't know if there's that many little kids who know who Janet Jackson is. I remember going to her concert. I didn't see a single child at the Janet Jackson concert. I did not see a single child. Because most, if all, the people that went to the Janet Jackson concert grew up with her music. It's crazy because I am 22, and I don't know if I was the only 22-year-old there, but I was definitely younger than a lot of that, the majority of that crowd. And she still sold out, which is crazy. So of course, I feel like when it comes to relevancy, it's gotta be within a certain demographic. Like, for instance, I keep bringing it up, but yeah, Taylor Swift. But here's the thing. The current artists are obviously going to be more relevant. But then you have a name like Michael Jackson. It's like, I mean, it goes for anybody. But, like I said, you play Thriller every year, bam. Okay, the Billie Jean bass line, bam,
Oh, man, because there's other people that's going to mimic our culture. That's going to take the relevance away.
I see.
Nas has no relevance amongst young people, homie.
Okay. Now we're going.
We can steal some. Our young people have a very little remembrance of Michael Jackson.
Very little remembrance. Now, young people don't really. Yeah, I mean, you could say that because they don't really know much. I mean, I've talked to a lot of kids. They'll know about certain rumors. Like, I remember there was a kid that brought up, like, oh, he had he turned white, all that stuff. I mean, they'll know the rumors and stuff, and they'll know a couple songs, but obviously, they didn't grow up with him to like know more. But honestly, that shouldn't matter. I mean, it's his name is going to be kept alive no matter what.
Stay relevant to me and you.
Now, me and you referring to, because we grew up with it. I think that's what he's trying to say.
But relevance does not lies in the heart of your elders. It lies in the hearts and the minds and the mouth of young people.
I get that. I get what he's trying to say.
So
don't go at me, MJ fam.
Just go talk to young people, nigga, see if they know a Michael Jackson song or
I mean, I've done that already. They all know who Michael Jackson is.
Michael Jackson move.
They all know who Michael Jackson is. They all know, even if they don't know anything, they'll know Billie Jean, or they'll know just the name Michael Jackson. They don't even have to know who he looked like, and they'll know who that name is.
We're definitely going to do that, Victoria, on our show.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to do that.
Ask about, and not about that, homie. Ask young people, but not just about Mike, about Whitney, about Prince.
Okay.
About all these greats.
Now, Whitney, I can understand if a kid didn't know who Whitney Houston was. Unless they probably heard, like, I Want to Dance with Somebody and I Will Always Love You, which are her two most popular songs. I can obviously see a kid not knowing who Prince is, unless they probably heard the song Purple Rain from somebody older. But, Michael Jackson, every artist had their own level of fame. Michael Jackson obviously was a lot, like, he was fucking, like, we don't even have to explain how popular he was. But I still love all these amazing artists. I can't put popularity up and about, because I feel like people like Michael better because he was more popular, and that's not a valid reason in my opinion. Because someone could be popular and make fucking terrible music. Some people can say Taylor Swift is popular, and not everyone likes her music. So, but then, of course, the different generational arguments with that, too.
Even about Nas. Ask the young, what do they know about it? What a song where...
Now, I kind of feel like he's going to get into, like, oh, this artist the greatest of all time thing.
Homie, watch, they gonna say, So imagine 10 years from now, when they take the microphone from you, they take the camera from V, and somebody bring up Nas and compare him to a 21 Savage. Nigga, they gonna say 21 Savage is the greatest rapper of all time.
People are already saying that. Like, they're already saying, like people will say Tupac was the greatest, but then you got people who say, oh, Eminem, but I think everyone has their preferences with rap music, or any music. Most people would probably say, like, on this channel, I would say Michael Jackson's the greatest artist of all time. But then somebody will also say Freddie Mercury. But if we're talking about now, then they can say, like, Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Beyonce. It's crazy because Beyonce, they call her current. She technically is still current, but Beyonce's been around for a while. She's been around since 2000, like the early 2000s, with Destiny's Child. And then Usher too. Usher, I don't really like Usher. He's kind of not current now. I mean, he is, but somebody could probably argue, oh well, he's not as relevant because he did do the Super Bowl halftime show, and he dropped an album. But I feel like someone could probably argue, well, he was more relevant when he did songs like DJ's God's Falling in Love Again and My Boo, and I don't think it's like I don't think any song on his new album has been a hit, like has like the hit factor. But that doesn't mean the album was bad. That's another thing. But just because something's not popular doesn't mean it sucks. So yeah.
They gonna say NBA YoungBoy is the greatest rapper of all time.
Yep. He's 100% right about this. Yep. I agree.
Pop won't have no more relevance.
Well, to them.
If we don't embody the relevance.
Okay. I understand what he's saying. Listen, because I feel like what he's saying is it was kind of what I was saying before. If you want to make him relevant, you gotta make him relevant. You gotta make him relevant to people, like what they're doing with the biopic. But it depends on how they're going to market that. It's all about marketing. It's all about trying to get because Michael Jackson was a smart guy when it came to business at the times that he was, especially with music and trying to get his fans to wait. With the strategies, So, but then he got other artists who have great strategies too. But it's interesting because you get artists of now, and obviously they say they're the greatest because that's what they're accustomed to. They'll respect. I mean, I know people that respect Michael Jackson. They don't love him, but it's interesting when we talk about these things. Don't call out these people for not, because I know people that if they say that Michael is not the greatest, then they're gonna get called out for it, and that's kind of dumb because it's not like anything especially if they don't really know who Michael Jackson was. Like, you can't really call out somebody for that and call them disrespectful when it's nothing but a personalized take on something. But yeah, it's fine. We live in such a different world now. But do I think the name Michael is going to be forever accustomed to people? Do you think that's going to be forever identifiable? 100%. There's no denying that at all.
So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know this is a topic that's probably like no one's really bringing it up, but I decided, let's kind of make it relevant again. And but it was, it's fun to discuss things like this every once in a bit. Especially after being sent this to a friend, and watching the video again kind of made me realize, like, it's interesting when we look at things from a generational point of view. And I'm saying the word interesting a lot, I know. But regardless, like I said, there's going to be a time and place for, new and upper talent. And I think as fans of anybody, no matter if you hate or like or dislike the person, it's all about, for certain people, I'm not saying everybody deserves it, but respect is so important at the end of the day. And it's just, for me, that's the way we do it in most situations. Anyway, y'all have a great one. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.